The Violence Against Women Act was enacted in 1994 and reauthorized by Congress in 2013. The legislation's primary goal is to prevent domestic violence and sexual crimes, respond to the needs of crime victims, learn more about violence against women, and change public attitudes. At Nashville State Community College, it is our goal to inform you about these crimes and equip you with resources should you or your classmates need assistance. Domestic violence has been in the news recently, but it is not a new problem. Heidi Bennett, Police Counseling Supervisor from the Metro Nashville Police Department, will discuss this topic, which affects not only the victim, but the family as well.
Domestic violence refers to a pattern of behaviors that's used in a relationship where one partner has power and control over another partner. And that can manifest itself in a number of different ways. A lot of people think of physical violence, hitting, punching, slapping, and leaving bruises. However, there's lots of different forms of abuse, and they can be very, very subtle, which makes it very difficult for victims of domestic violence to really understand that they are, in fact, victims of domestic violence. There are some early warning signs for domestic violence. For instance, did this relationship start and develop very quickly? In this age of Facebook and texting, we're getting to know one another at an exponentially rapid rate sometimes, and that can create the illusion that we know one another before we really know one another. Another warning sign of domestic violence includes jealousy and possessiveness. You know, perhaps your partner wants you all to himself or herself, wants to isolate you and keep you from family and friends. Maybe checking your cell phone or checking out your Facebook or your Twitter account just to see what's going on there, okay? Another thing is externalizing blame and responsibility. And you'll see this in other areas of the abuser's life. Perhaps they have a tendency to blame other people for their issues in life. It's their parents' fault, it's their professor's fault, and it will be your fault as well. Having a history of domestic violence or witnessing domestic violence as a child can point towards an abuse pattern in adult life. This person has learned that this is an acceptable way of conflict resolution. So that's something to look out for as well. Another warning sign is having a short fuse, going from 0 to 60 very quickly. And a lot of times victims will discuss that their abuser is much like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality. That's certainly something to look out for. It can be very difficult to be certain if you're involved in an abusive relationship, and well-intended friends and family may even contribute to the confusion. It's really important to talk to someone who has some training and knowledge in the field of domestic violence. And luckily here in Nashville-Davidson County, we have a number of resources that can help people do that. A lot of people are very uncertain if they need to come here to the division. They feel embarrassed. They feel like they're going to be wasting resources by coming here, and that's not the case. If you feel like you need to walk into this office, there's a reason why you feel like you need to come here, and it's very critical to come in here and check it out. That's what this division is for. We are staffed with people who do work this, and we will sit down and talk with you and just do an assessment on what are the dynamics that are taking place in the relationship and help you to come to a determination about whether or not this is abuse, and if that's the case, what your plan can be, what your options are. You know, with options, a person gets equipped. A student will feel empowered knowing what options exist out there, and they'll feel less isolated, less embarrassed, knowing that this is a common phenomenon. It's extraordinary to that person, but unfortunately this is so commonplace that they are not alone, and the more resources that they tap into, the more empowered they're going to be. The best advice I can give is to talk to someone, seek support, and don't go it alone.